everybody, it's Gina from Orchid and Opal Jewelry and Beads, and I'm here today with another tutorial. This one I'm calling the Beaded SuperDuo Starburst earrings, and I was inspired by an image that I saw on Pinterest. It wasn't the same design or anything like that, but it was similar in the sense that it had SuperDuo beads and seed beads combined to make sort of a star shape. Now, the jewelry that I saw in the image was much more ornate and a lot larger, and what I wanted to do was something that I like to do a lot is gain inspiration from another design but then make it my own. So I decided I wanted to keep it pretty simple. I didn't want something huge and ornate. I wanted a simple project that people could do, especially if they're new to SuperDuos, or if you wanted to make a project where you didn't have a lot of SuperDuos to use. So that's what I did when I came up with this design. It looks kind of like a starburst, or kind of a snowflake almost too. But I have some variations on it. The one I'm going to make today is this one right here with the drops. And these drops came from the July 2018 bead crate, and I thought they were gorgeous, and they went really well with the SuperDuos. And so we're going to make those today in a reddish color. I also made this variation here that used the 4mm fire polish beads, and this is the original design that just uses seed beads and SuperDuos. So this is the basic design. If you only have seed beads and SuperDuos, you can make that. But by making the one we're going to make today, you'll be able to make any variation you like. To make 2 earrings, you'll need 40 SuperDuos, you'll need 11 seed beads, and 2 9x11mm drop beads, or a similar shape and size. You'll also need 2 ear wires, approximately 4 feet of beading thread. I'll be using a 6-pound fire line, and a beading needle, and also scissors and jewelry pliers would be helpful. Okay, so once you have your needle threaded, we're going to get started by making one of our earrings. And to do that, the first step is to make this central ring. So we're going to make this very center ring by picking up 5 seed beads and 5 SuperDuos. So let's get started. So we're going to pick up first 1 seed bead, then 1 SuperDuo, a seed bead, a SuperDuo, seed bead, SuperDuo, and we're going to make sure we have 5 of each on our needle, alternating them. Okay, so you should have this combination right here of alternating seed beads and SuperDuos, and we're going to pull those down on our thread, leaving ourselves about a 5 or 6 inch tail. So don't pull them too far down, but leave yourself a little tail that you're going to weave in later. And you're going to take your needle and you're going to go back through all those beads, which is going to make a loop. So we're coming out of this direction here. We're going to go back through all those beads, through all the same holes. Just like that. And keep your tail in place. Okay, and so we went through all those beads again. You should have something like this, and then you can take your tail thread and make a little knot with the other thread, which will then create a loop like that. So you have already a little baby star formed right there, and that's going to be the foundation of your earrings. So once you have your central loop made, you can then continue with the next group that goes around. And the next part after that would be to string on 2 SuperDuos between each of these sections. Okay, so get your needle to a point where you are coming out of one of the lower holes of your SuperDuos. It doesn't matter which one, because it's just all going to be a ring at this point. So come out of one of your lower or central holes on the SuperDuo. Then pick up 2 SuperDuos. And then go through the lower hole of the next SuperDuo that you get to. And so you'll be skipping over that seed bead and going right through the next SuperDuo. And that's gonna put these two right in between these 2 SuperDuos that you had put in your first ring. And we're going to continue that around the piece. So coming out of the lower hole of this SuperDuo, you're going to skip over the seed bead and go through the lower hole or the central hole of the next SuperDuo and pull. And make sure your beads aren't getting twisted. Alright, and pull it nice and snug, and we're going to keep going around. So pick up 2 more SuperDuos, go through the hole of the next SuperDuo that you get to, and pull snug. And if they don't seem to be fitting into place quite right yet, don't worry, they will once we get going. So 2 more SuperDuos through the next lower hole of the next SuperDuo. And 1 more to go. Picking up 2 more SuperDuos and through the next hole. Just like that. So you should have now something that resembles this in your hand. And what we're going to do now is we're going to continue around and we're going to just tack these SuperDuos together. So what I mean is we're going to be going through the tops now of the central SuperDuo holes that we haven't already gone through, and we're going to be going through the lower holes of our second ring of SuperDuos. So let me show you. Coming out of this SuperDuo here, let's just continue on, go through the 2 lower holes of the SuperDuos in your outer ring. Okay, and then you're going to get to one of the SuperDuos in your inner ring and go through the second hole of that one. Just like that. Then you get to 2 SuperDuos on your outer ring, go through the bottom or innermost holes of those next 2 SuperDuos. And then you get to an inner ring SuperDuo, go through the top hole of that one. So you're just binding all of these together basically. So again, you get to 2 on the outer ring, go through the bottom holes of those, and keep your work taut while you go, and through the outer hole of the inner SuperDuo, and just go all the way around until you have gone through all of these beads, and it just makes everything a little bit more stable and tied together. Okay. Almost there. And if you can't remember exactly where you left off, don't worry if you go through the same beads again. It won't hurt anything. Okay, so what you have in your hand pretty much looks the same, it's just reinforced. So again, before nothing was going through the top holes of the inner ring of SuperDuos, but now those top holes have been gone through and everything's kind of tacked together. So if you're coming out of one of the outer ring SuperDuos like I am out of the bottom hole, the next step is you want to, get in position to be at the top holes of those SuperDuos. So coming out of this hole here, you're going to just put your needle through here, and that little loop is going to be hidden. So you came out of one of the outer SuperDuos at the bottom hole, and you just want to go back in the other direction through the top hole, and we're going to continue on around. So when you're at the point where you're coming out of the SuperDuo here on the outer ring, you have this little point right here, a smaller space and a bigger space and a smaller space and a bigger space. This smaller space we're going to fill with another SuperDuo, and it's going to form peaks of our star. So if you're at that point, then pick up another SuperDuo and then go through the top hole of the next SuperDuo that you get to. There you go. So you see it formed a little peak, just like that. Then, with the larger gap, you're going to be stringing on 3 11/0 seed beads. Okay, and then go through the top hole of the outer ring of SuperDuos, or the next SuperDuo you get to. Okay, and then you're at the smaller gap, so you're going to be adding another SuperDuo in between those two. So string on a SuperDuo, go through the top hole of the next one. You're at a larger gap again, so pick up 3 seed beads. Okay, and go through the next SuperDuo, the top hole. So I think you get the idea. We're going to pick up another SuperDuo and put it between these two at the smaller gap, and we'll go ahead and tie that or weave that tail in a little bit later. I know it kind of gets in the way. Alright, so then we're at a large gap, so we're going to pick up 3 seed beads and go through the next top hole of the next SuperDuo. Picking up a SuperDuo, plopping it in there between those two, and so on. Okay. And the only difference is with this and the basic pattern where we didn't use any drops is we're going to stop where we would normally add our last 3 seed beads right here in this large gap, and that's where we're going to add our drop bead. So if you have a drop style bead that you want to add at the bottom of your earring, instead of stringing on 3 seed beads and putting them here, you're going to be stringing on your drop bead. Okay, so that's what I did here, and I'm going to continue the pattern by going through the top hole of the next SuperDuo that I get to. Okay, so you can see that I have the star shape here, and I have my drop included, and the only thing that we're missing now is the peaks to our little seed bead points here. So we're going to continue around. We're going to go through the lower hole of this very outermost SuperDuo. We're going to go through the top of the next SuperDuo. And then go through the very first seed bead and string on 3 more seed beads. Okay, and then go down through the third seed bead here. Okay, and that, once you pull it tight and make sure your string isn't getting tangled or caught on anything else, see how it made that nice little point? You're going to do that for each of these sections. So you'll follow the thread path and go around until you get to your next group of 3 seed beads, going up the very first seed bead, and then picking up 3 new seed beads and going back down through the last seed bead or the third seed bead, pulling it, and it creates a point. Okay, so we'll continue on through the thread path. Just like that. Picking up 3 more. Okay, and we're at our last one, which is our 4th, since we have a drop filling up our 5th section. And that's what we have. So it's as easy as that. You know, it's a very quick project, and you can add your own spin on it by using different drops. You could use a leaf, you could use a dagger, you know, just kind of play with what you have. And then also, if you wanted to, instead of adding the 3 seed beads in between each of these sections, you could instead add a 4mm fire polish like I did here. And then the only other difference between these two is I did sections of 5 seed beads around the fire polish, and then I went back and I added 3 more to each section at the top to make little peaks on that one. So that would be a variation if you're more comfortable with experimenting and you kind of see what I did there. That's another option for you if you wanted to take that spin on it. Okay, so once you have your piece in place, our next step would be to make our loop at the top where you can add your ear wire. So follow the thread path all the way around till you get to the top of your earring. We're getting there. You may have to go through your beads one at a time if they don't want to cooperate with you going through several. Okay. Almost there. Okay. Just going to move my tail out of the way. It wants to get tangled up. Alright. So what you want is you want to be coming out of the bottom hole of your very top SuperDuo. So the opposite side of where you have your drop that's going to dangle down. Come out of the bottom of that SuperDuo and then pick up 2 seed beads and go through the top hole. So you have that. Pick up 2 more seed beads and then go through the bottom hole on the other side. Just like that. And then go up through those 2 seed beads on this side, through the SuperDuo, and through the seed bead on the opposite side of the SuperDuo. So you're going to go through those, and at that point you'll be in the position to make your loop. And to make your loop, you'll add on 8 seed beads. Okay, and you're going to go through the opposite side. So go through the opposite seed bead and back through the SuperDuo and the seed bead here on this side, and it forms a loop. So we're ready to reinforce the loop. You're coming out right here. Just go through that loop a couple more times and that'll make it extra strong. So this is the third time I'm going through it. And at this point, you're ready to tie some half-hitch knots and go through some beads and then cut off your string. So I'm coming out of here. There's not just one way to do it. You can, select where you want to put your little knots, but a good rule of thumb would be to do about 3 at least little half-hitch knots and then go through some more beads to hide the knot. I'm going to do another little knot right here, so I'm just putting my needle under that piece of thread in between the two beads, making a loop, putting my needle through the loop and pulling, going through the next seed bead. I'm going to go through the next SuperDuo there, and through the next SuperDuo, like that. And I'm going to make one last little knot right there. Okay. Go through a couple of these seed beads and I'm going to cut this thread. My scissors. And you can see that I'm left with enough thread to do my next earring. So I'm going to take my needle, and if you have a second needle, you can use that and put it on your tail thread. And that way you can leave the thread with the needle that you have already in place. You can leave that intact to do your second earring. You won't have to thread another needle. So I'm just showing you how I'm tying off my tail thread. So again, just making a little knot in between two of the beads. Then going through a couple more beads and making another knot. Like that. Go through a couple more beads. Make another knot, and then just keep going through the beads until you run out of thread, or if you just want to cut your thread off at that point, you can do that too. Since I don't have that much thread, figure that I'll just go around and it'll just keep it even stronger by doing that. Okay. And I'll just go through a couple more, just like that. And then I'm going to cut my thread. Okay, so we have this beautiful earring right here. And now we're ready to attach our ear wire. So we'll do that. I'm going to get my pliers. And I'm just going to open up this ear wire with my pliers carefully, just a little bit, just enough to get my earring on, like that. And then I'm going to use my pliers to close that loop. Okay, so there we have it. So obviously to make your other earring, you'll follow the exact same steps. I won't do that on here with you guys, but you get the idea, and hopefully this gives you an idea on how to use some of those SuperDuo beads or what to do with your drop beads, and you can definitely make your own spin on this design if you like. It's a quick and fun project to do, and you can really use so many different variations on this design. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Feel free to leave me a comment or a question at the bottom of this post, and I will see you hopefully on my next video. Bye guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I would also love for you to follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Etsy. Orchid and Opal Jewelry. Thanks for watching!